Hi there, my name is Christy, and I am a web developer at the University of Texas at Dallas. I'm a member of our Office of Communications, which includes developers like me, as well as writers and photographers and designers. And we all work together to share news about what's happening at the university, and promote events and get information out to students, graduates, prospective students who are thinking about coming to UT Dallas. And through all of that, the UTD website is one of the most important ways that we can communicate with those audiences. So to do my job as a developer, I use a language called HTML to write web pages. We use a lot of other tools also, but HTML is kind of the basis of all of the pages that we create for the university. Something else that we do a lot is called style sheets or cascading style sheets, and that's kind of how we add colors, pictures, fonts, some of the visual detail that makes web pages interesting. Picking out pictures to go along with our web pages is one of the things that I get to do that's a lot of fun. I usually try to pick photos that go along with the message of a given web page. So for example, if I were doing a page about life as a student at UT Dallas, I would pick out pictures of students walking around campus, maybe studying at the library, things that illustrate what a day is like for a student. So I became a web developer after working as a office manager and as a writer, and I got to do a little bit of web development as part of those jobs, and I enjoyed it. I got to kind of learn on the job from some of my coworkers, and I also learned a bit about web development when I was a student in college myself, studying journalism, and then later studying library science. A lot of developers, so some developers will learn about web development in school. I learned a little bit in school as a journalism student, as a library science student, but a lot of developers learn on the job, which is how I learned most of what I know about web development. Developers like to share what they know, teach each other, help each other learn and do new things. And one great way that developers share what they know is through websites that they build. And so luckily there's a lot of information online for free about how to be a web developer, how to learn web development on your own. One of the things that I really like best about my job is that part of my job is getting to help make UT Dallas web pages accessible, which means that we want our pages to be usable and user-friendly to all kinds of people, and that includes people who might have disabilities, like a vision impairment, or if they don't have hearing or don't hear very well. So there's some things that we can do to make sure that our web pages are still usable to those people. I get to help other web developers at UT Dallas learn how to make their pages accessible, which is one of the sort of most challenging parts of my job, but it's also one of my favorite parts because I get to meet other developers, get to collaborate, get to solve problems, find issues that we're having around accessibility and tackle those things and figure out how to make improvements. Meeting new people, getting to know other developers and non-developers around the university is really one of the things that I like most about my job. In a university, like any school that is in an academic year, there's new changes every year, especially in the fall, and at the beginning of the spring semester, there's new people, new students, new classes, new performances happening. So I really enjoy all of that, and that's one of the things I like about working at a university. There's also a lot of opportunities to learn about a range of topics. I get the chance to go to lectures, to attend workshops, to use the university library. So there's a lot of resources and opportunities to continue learning. So if you think that being a web developer is something that you might be interested in, there's a couple of things that you could do right now to sort of further test if that's something you enjoy. First thing is just pick out a website, maybe a website that you've been to before, a website that you go to regularly. Go and look at that website with a critical eye and make some notes and see, are there things that you like about it, things that you don't like about it? Why? Why do you like how it works or how it looks, or what don't you like? Why don't you like it? Were you able to find whatever information you were coming for? That's an important question with any site. A particular site you might look for is maybe your school or your hometown. Maybe they have a website. So go look at that and see, does what you see there match up with what you've experienced as a member of that school or of that town? Are there things that you would change? So I hope that those exercises kind of help you start thinking about what makes a good website, um, some of the parts that go into a website, and if you would like to maybe consider a career as a web developer one day in the future. Um, so yeah, that's what sort of my job is all about as a web developer at the University of Texas at Dallas. I hope this has been enlightening. I hope you learn more and that maybe you consider a career in web development one day.